This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy and other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. The pressure is on. Today, 4 teams are fighting for survival and a spot in the next round of the competition. Only 2 squads can make it to the playoffs. Hello everyone and welcome to day 5 of Masters, coming to you from UOB Live in Bangkok, Thailand. I am your host Yingsu on the desk today, joined once again by Mimi and Kakuka for the final day of the Swiss stage. I cannot believe we've already reached the final day of this stage. It seemed like yesterday that we just arrived here.
Exactly, and by the end of today, we're only going to have our 4 teams that will be taking off in the playoffs. Remember, getting also that extra point for champs. This year, 2 teams will go just off of points. So even getting the best baseline is very good for them.
It's wild to see how the tournament is panned out, kind of to expectations. We have a chance for all 4 #1 seeds to be the teams who go straight into the playoffs, but obviously still some very close matches to play today.
We also have a chance of not even having Americas in the playoffs.
But okay, let's not do this. We've been here for 2 seconds.
You're so happy delivering that.
But we should talk about the fact that Sentinels fell this early on in the tournament.
Yeah, this really was a shocker, I think. Team Liquid and Sentinels, this game was boggling the mind. It felt like every time the team with the better macro, with the advantage at the end of rounds, ended up losing. It was mud all day, map 2, but map 3 was vintage Nats, and it was so beautiful to watch.
He was completely decided that he was not going to lose that map. I think that he had 1 good round and he said, okay, I feel like I am the only player who is still 100% into this game, and I'm going to abuse it as much as I can.
And this other game was very much confidence coming back for T1, but a big disappointment for Trace getting stomped out, leaving the tournament without winning a map is a big disappointment for that team that had pretty high hopes after their run in China and back there. But that puts T1 in a much better position going into today.
Yeah, of course, it's not all doom and gloom for the CM region because EDG are already through, Vitality are already through. We will have a draw show today at the end after the second game, which means those 2 teams, Kakuka, will find out whether they face T1, DRX, G2 or Liquid.
I'm kind of pissed off that they cannot face up against each other in the first round, but I think it's also fair. It's good also that they're going to have a break. They played the first couple of games. Now, you know, bish bash bosh, we wait a week.
Yeah, the other teams will have 2 days off before the playoff stage starts as well, but definitely feels good to be avoiding elimination, to get that clean run through and have a lot of time to prep for playoffs.
Yeah, and as I said, we will have the draw show, so make sure you guys stick with us once the second game is done. And that brings us to the Mastercard fan poll. We want to know how many first seeds will make it through to playoffs. You tell us, 2, 3 or 4. Scan the QR code to cast your vote and we'll have the results in just a moment. And while you're at it, make sure to use the hashtags VALORANT Masters and VCT so we can feature some of your opinions on the show. Any early, do you guys think 2, 3 or 4 first seeds we're gonna have? Early
I mean,
calls?
we have 2.
Yeah.
I'm putting 4.
Let's do 3. Let's do 3. I would like an upset.
No, honest tournament, all
Okay.
1 seeds.
All right, Mimi's going 4 out of 4. We'll find out by the end of today. But let's check in on the MVP race, of course. Let's not forget the player that wins MVP here will win that coveted bracelet as well. And right now, it does feel like we have a clear front runner, Kakuka, in Dirke.
Absolutely. I think that the way that he's been playing him now in Vitality, but in this LAN environment, that just fits him so well. I love the fact that we are the ones that kind of like get to choose, not only us, but you know, a lot of people behind the scenes.
It's actually just
like
Bea who gets to pick.
It's actually just me. I decide who it is. So you better put up a good show, because otherwise I will not choose you.
Word. But if you could choose right now, it would have to be Dirka. He was so good in both matches from Team Vitality, had crazy individual rounds to win them that previous series. But I think that second place is a little surprising. You'd think it's going to be Kung Kung, Dirka, maybe Jojimo up there. But Chichu has been having an absolutely incredible tournament thus far here, and it's been the real standout for EDG.
Yeah, and let me pitch one man that managed to drag his entire team over the line last night, and that is, of course, Prime prime Gambit Nats.
Oh God, you would do anything to just speak about Gambit,
Yes.
but I think that this one is completely justified. It's not only that, we know that he's IGL, and I absolutely love when we show the clips of the TED Talks that he gives to his teammates, how they have to face every single map, and also delivering this amazing and definitely groundbreaking individual performance.
It feels like recency bias because of just how ridiculous his last map was. Maybe like the greatest singular map from any player, at least thus far of this tournament, if not from even prior to that. But he's been great all tournament. The calls have been on point. I think that his individual performance, even when not on that bind, was really stellar as well. It's so good to see Nats back in form.
And what a story it would be if he can carry this team and take them all the way to the finals as well. But before I get ahead of myself, even before next Sunday's grand final, a new agent will be revealed. We gave our pro players a little sneak peek, and here is their completely spoiler-free reactions.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have so much fun.
아니 뭐 예? 아니 뭐 이런 스킬이 있다고? Who's that? Excuse me? Excuse me? 우와 하나 이게 무슨 소리야? 아 예? 아 짜증나. I'm sweating profusely and it's not because of the room.
Hey guys, I'm Zelsus.
Hey, I'm Zekin.
大家好，我是来自 TV 的开。
大家好，我是来自 T 的峰峰。
It's my boy Kiko here and Party over here.
Hey, I'm Dragon.
Hey, I'm Leaf.
안녕하세요, 포즈와
스택스입니다.
And today we're gonna react to VALORANT's new duelist.
Let's go.
Let's begin.
그러니까 새로운 에이전트 이제 타격대가 나온다고 들어가지고
I thought at the beginning that it's an initiator again, but it's a duelist.
Valorant coming out with another agent that just has straight aura.
약간 제트, 요루, 레이나.
다 섞은 느낌. 딱 섞은 느낌 그런 느낌이 납니다. 제가 봤을 때.
That's crazy.
Wait.
That's actually crazy.
제트 안 쓰는데?
아니, 너무 좋은데?
제트 쓸 필요가 없는데?
그런 스킬 구성으로 봤을 때는 이거 진짜 좀 히트인데요, 히트.
Looks like fast pace.
Yeah.
Super fidgety. You know,
Yeah, it
like,
just doesn't stop.
应该是只要出了赛场上肯定会遇到，然后
I think this duelist's playstyle will be aggressive. I think it's gonna be really annoying to play against, which is why they're gonna be so fun for me to play.
good luck to nerf this. Good luck to every sentinel out there.
발로란트다운 캐릭터가 나온 것 같고 그 전에 본 적이 없는 스킬이다.
Good luck to the people holding sights.
I think the playstyle is just fully disruptive. Like you're just making people like annoyed.
The people with utility and the guys holding the smokes.
개사기.
It don't matter no more, guys. The game's over.
저는 뭔가 클라우드9의 옥시 선수가 좀 뭔가 잘할 것 같은 느낌이 들고요.
Yeah, Oxy would be pretty insane. Yeah.
I think Derka's gonna have a smile from cheek to cheek.
I think Jogging will dominate on this agent.
I think like Jogamo. I mean, Ospas is an easy one because he's the GOAT, but I think he'll like it. Just everyone. I think all the duelists are gonna really like them.
是也不是对索尔吧，我觉得，因为正是因为他的技能如此有创造力，所以说他的上限应该很高。
My boy over here to my right, he will go crazy on it. I'm telling you. But I think on every map this agent will be busted.
Primarily jet maps, I would say.
Yeah.
It looks insane.
我认为应该是那什么 Lotus 啊，然后 Split 这种。
Couple maps it could be good on would just be like Bind, Ascent, I think Haven too.
New duelist, Raze, Neon, Breach, Teo. No smokes, just go.
Be sure to watch the Masters Bangkok Grand Final on March 2nd.
To get a first look at Valorant's next duelist.
And see a show match featuring them in action for the first time.
For the first time.
최초!
Zekin pitching a no smokes comp. I know Sliggy is watch partying. He must be absolutely buzzing to see this new duelist if he can play a no smokes comp.
He's also so humble to say, oh, I think Aspas is going to be great because he is the GOAT. Second, you're also the GOAT. Like, don't be like that. But yeah, it's very exciting. A new duelist. We know how important it is in the meta to fit in. I would like it to have maybe some trade denial abilities because then it goes 100% into the comps.
I'm shocked that Oxy was the guy mentioned.
Right,
It feels like
yeah.
it's got to be something specific to his playstyle. That's so cool to see their reactions. I'm very excited to get a look at the new agent.
Yeah, we'll find out in about a week. But today, 4 world-class teams are up for elimination. And if your favorite is on the chopping block, do not worry, do not feel despair. We've got some hopium here for you guys. Make sure you snatch up your Dom Herbal Hopium inhalers. They are sold here in Bangkok to help wake the teams up for today's elimination matches. And I want both of you, I'll start with you, Kakuka, to sell me something, to give me some faith.
So when I went to the store, I picked up this G2 scent. I think that it fits a lot. I understand how some people, especially after what happened yesterday with Sentinels, might be scared of
If you're gonna cope, you gotta huff it.
Yeah, I will. Let me give the explanation
I'm
first.
sorry, I'm sorry.
The after what happened yesterday, as I was saying, maybe they lost a little bit of hope, but all I can smell here. Success. Leaf getting an ace. Joggermo faking. Lower clone.
That's the note you're getting.
It smells like playoffs to me. But you
Ooh.
should definitely go for G2.
Okay. I'm sold right now. So Mimi, what you got?
The one and only DRX scented one here. I've got to cope for this team because they've been. Hold on. It smells good. It smells fresh. And you could not be more fresh than having a new comp on every single map. They have been changing things up. They've been pushing the meta. Their rookie players, Hyunmin and Freeing, on point. And they're in a regional rematch against a team they've already beaten twice this year. Barely if they do it once more. Then they're into the playoffs, playing on the cutting edge, and honestly, in a prime position to go on a run.
I think that.
All right, let me.
Yeah, because the primary
smells so
notes
good.
are we do not need new comps because you already adapted to the meta at the beginning of the year.
All right, hold on. I will be the judge. Yeah, let me
Okay.
have that. You said what? What was it? It's quite leafy, but
Leafy.
wait, hold on. It kind of does smell like success. Oh, it's the G2 Gozen flavor. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Fair enough.
I don't think they're here. Smells like Mimi's hair.
You gotta try this one too.
Oh, okay. Oh God. Oh, okay. I'll try this one. I'll try this one.
catch.
I'll try this one. Oh, Mimi, you were
It's good.
lying.
It's good.
You actually were lying. Oh, I think I might prefer the scent of this one.
Yeah?
Just a tinge. Just a tinge. But make sure you guys snatch up your own as well. But let's get into this first matchup. Of course, it's DRX taking on T1. We've got the script writers are getting a little bit lazy. It is a good old-fashioned regional clash, and of course, the rematch of the Pacific Kickoff Finals. But this is the interesting thing. Even though this is a rematch, we have never had a Korea versus Korea match on the global stage. Mimi, this would actually be the first time we see it.
Which is wild. For the longest time, DRX was synonymous with being the one successful Korean team going to global events, and then they got usurped by Gen G last year, winning the first trophy for an Asian squad. But now we have two teams who are both primed to make playoffs from the very same region, and even some guys who have played together, who have that deep history with each other and now against each other on a global stage.
Understanding as well, and especially how close their last matchup was regionally. I understand how there is a lot on the table, as you were saying, Mimi, DRX bringing in the new compositions, even though this is a match that we have seen already this year. I feel like today's gonna have a different tint, a different taste.
The grand final was 5 maps, but it was DRX winning. And it's wild because this is such a storied match outside of just these teams. It's happened 7 times since partnerships. Every single one, DRX has won. But for a lot of that time, they had 2 guys on the team that have now gone over and are playing with T1.
Yeah, and this is why it's interesting, because usually it is Stax, Buzz, and Mako trying to get out of Swiss stage together.
Yeah.
But this time around, Kakuka is against each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also what we're saying. What you're seeing here is the score of that grand final. And as you're seeing, things are very close up together. That Lotus that we saw yesterday, it was just as good. And it's something that DRX has not found the solution to just yet.
It's also a culmination of the curses and the blessings for DRX.
Meteor, wake up! Sorry.
He's gotta lock it. They never get grouped, right? DRX has never been grouped before at a global event as a team. But they also have a bit of a 5th, 6th place curse, which exactly, that's where they would lie if they got eliminated here today. So they've got to beat at least one of those narratives, depending on how this one goes. But you see the players on stage together, back when they were playing under that DRX banner, so much history.
Exactly. Oh, I'm looking at Stax.
I was going to say, who did you go with in the divorce of the,
In the divorce,
of the previous
I would go
DRX?
with Stax, but you know exactly what I would choose.
Yeah, you've gone with Stax here, but it is the 2 former teammates versus the 1 former. Anything anything that we can read into that, Mimi? Any sort of advantage you think they might have over each other?
I don't think they'll necessarily have any advantage. I think it's just knowing how your opponent plays a lot. Not necessarily what comp they're going to play, what their macro idea is, but the ideas they're going to have in a clutch, where they like to play on a map, little things like that that you pick up on. And when you're on the stage, you know you're losing a clutch to your former teammate. You know you're playing against a guy. That rivalry, I think it motivates you even more.
I would love to see some friendly banter on the stage as well. You know, I want to see them giving it to each other. I feel like Mako is going to be giving it in the server. We have been seeing it. He's been having such a great tournament with him making the calls, but also staying always so cool and so calm. Just the Mako that we know and love.
He's been solid all tournament, but he really shined in their last game playing against Vitality. Towards the end of that second map, he was the absolute hero that they needed on Abyss, stepping up, getting multi-frags in so many of their retakes. He's the reason that this series went the distance. And like you say, he's the leader now. Back when he was playing with his former teammates in stacks, he was just another member of the team. He was one of their stars, winning all the clutches. But now he has so much more responsibility to have to lead this team, to take down a guy that he used to be IGL'd by.
I wish we would have gotten the Team Liquid versus DRX. It still can happen, okay? It still can happen. But I also wanted to highlight the rest of the team with the changes that they've been bringing up, with the rookies, with everything. This DRX just looks so good on the stage.
They do indeed. Let's hear from two of the former teammates earlier. Mika Fabs caught up with Stax and Mako for a quick chat.
Hey guys, Mika and a very confused Jen over here with Stax and Mako reunited once again for a very, very quick interview. The two IGLs of this specific civil war. Now, Mako, you have been, Stax was your IGL before, but now you need to eliminate him. So what do you have to say about that?
마코 선수, 스택스 선수랑 이렇게 국제 무대에서 적으로 만나게 됐는데 뭐 예전 IGL이었잖아요. 근데 뭐 스택스 선수에게 할 말 있나요?
그냥 진짜 안 만났으면 좋겠는데 갑자기 또 이렇게 만나버려가지고 뭐 어쩌겠나요. 승부의 세계는 냉정한 법.
Oh well, I really didn't want to run into him and eliminate him, but you know what can you do? It's life, so whoever wins wins.
Oh no, and Stax, Mako has now been like the IGL of DRX rather, and he has been beating T1, especially in the Pacific Grand Finals. So what about you? What do you have to say to that?
일단 뭐 그때 더 DRX가 잘해서 이겼던 것 같고, 그리고 이제 저희가 이제 조추첨을 할 때 이제 저희 톡방이 있는데 저기서 이제 다 주작이라고 이거 말이 안 된다고 해서 저희도 이제 뭐 어쩔 수 없이 일단 받아들이긴 했습니다.
Well, yeah, they beat us in the Pacific Grand Finals because they were the better team that day. But as we were watching the draw show, we have a group chat with all of us in it, and we're all saying, it's scripted! But what can you do? Such is life.
This is definitely scripted, so thank you very much for your time and good luck.
I would love to know what else goes on in that group chat. It sounds very wholesome. But here is the thing. Even though T1 are very familiar with DRX, Kakuka, they have yet to face the human Yoru.
And he's been so impressive. Like the first time that we saw him playing on the Agent, we were just surprised to even see him picking it up. But I feel like the more he plays, the more comfortable he gets with it. And I feel like this ultimates that he was using on Turbine the second time around that they were playing with the Yoru, the second match that they had, he was so impactful. Always good for 1, for 2, for 3. So many heroics putting up with him. Even though they lost that match against Vitality, at least in my opinion, quality-wise, this is probably the best game that we had so far.
Thus far this tournament, DRX have done the best job, in my opinion, of having set ideas on how to combine their ultimates and their utility. And that's all been about Hyunmin on his Yoru. The way they're taking sites, combining off his teleport. When he has an ult online, they always have something cooked up to support him with utility. And that's also shockingly well executed because it's brand new. Yeah. 5 maps they've played, 5 new compositions. It's just absurd.
It's not just the comms though, because Kakuka, I know you wanted to particularly hone in on some of the defense moments from DRX.
You're talking about the combos and the understanding, and to me, in some instances, I see a masterclass from Mako, and I wanted to take a look at some of the rounds on Abyss, especially when they were on the defense, because so many times Vitality, they love running the clock down and just expect you to, at some point, push, and I think that DRX was very, very good at this. So I wanted to show a couple of them. This is round 4. Both of them are going to be in Abyss. First and foremost, Mako's position and movement and understanding of when he has to go down and actually how to implement himself into the macro idea is astonishing. But also, the ultimates from Vayne were very, very, very well executed to allow the team to just have a little bit more strength onto retaking the sides. And then later on, again, we see the same instances with Vitality running the clock down. We see the utility coming in also from the side of DRX that is perfectly placed. Heung-min takes care of the lurker. And even though Vitality has that strength to get onto side, find the kills. Again, the ultimate from Vayne. No comfortable situation was to be found by Vitality.
I love you bringing this up because I actually think this is something that T1 does really well too. When they play on their Lotus and also their Haven, when they have the ISO, they have the Sova, I think they do a really good job of using those ults cross-map to support the defenders. So something both these teams excel at and are going to have to watch out for from their opponent.
Well, let's move on to T1. Of course, you guys both mentioned it already. It kind of bodes well for them, the fashion in which, Mimi, they made it to this stage.
Yeah, I mean, this was a dominant game all across the board. And it was, I think, best case scenario for T1. In my opinion, Trace made some big mistakes in this map veto, picking into the Lotus against T1. T1 then got to pick into their Haven, which is their other best map. And this was just a straight up parade of how good they are when they're playing these double duelist compositions. They are at their best when they're playing these brawly comps, when the coordination is on point, and this is just the best game possible to get the confidence back.
Yeah, the energy, the confidence.
Yeah, the energy, the confidence. This is something that you need on the stage, right? You're coming in as the second from your region. You do not have a good initiating performance, but then you do this. You're able to play, I know that we say it a lot, to play your game and actually work to your strengths and not even focusing on the weaknesses of your opponent.
Yeah, how much do we read into the Carpe Sylvan swap? Are we convinced about this yet?
I don't think, I'm convinced it would not have mattered in this game. I think it was so dominant, the game plan was so good, the map veto was so favorable, it wouldn't have mattered. Today is more of a test for Sylvan, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you. I think that, as we were saying, like, the comp is everything around it, everything worked for T1. And again, I love the fact that they get that confidence, but maybe he was the one that needed it the most, right? To feel, well, welcome back in.
Yeah, I mean, it is the best case scenario for a player making his debut at a global event to win that dominantly.
Yeah, and he's got to do it again against DRX today. But following the win over Trace, we spoke with Meteor in this Omen player moment.
안녕하세요. T1에서 활동 중인 메테오 김태호입니다. 살아남으면 살아남을수록 우리 팀이 강해지고 있구나, 이런 의미인 것 같습니다. 오늘 각자 5명이 다 잘해서 이겼기 때문에 다음 경기도 이대로만 한다면 충분히 이길 것 같습니다. 오늘 경기하면서 질 것 같은 순간은 없었고요. 다음 경기도 걱정 안 됩니다.
Dan waiting for any kind of noise. There's a push for the right click. Finds it! And he gets the transfer on to Kai! Oh, this round! It's all T1!
일단 이길 때나 질 때나 아직 끝나지 않았다는 생각을 계속 갖고 있어야 될 것 같고, 그리고 팀적으로만 서로를 믿는다면 다음 경기 충분히 이길 것 같습니다. 자신감은 충분히 있고, 솔직히 자신감이 없다고 하기엔 제가 수많은 대회들을 해봤기 때문에 자신감은 충분히 있는 편입니다. T1 파이팅!
I really love what he said there. I've played in too many tournaments to not be confident. And I think we have to remember the fact that Meteor has been in these situations before. Kukuga has lifted a trophy, and he's probably somebody I will look towards when they do get in maybe a tricky situation to dig them out.
Absolutely, and I think that him saying that he was determined to win, I mean, we saw it. He was not losing that matchup. If he's able to translate that win, that confidence, that trust that I am sure they felt on that stage onto today, I think that this might be the time. This might be the one time that T1 can win against DRX.
It's the first time we've had 10 Korean players in one match at a global tournament in Valorant history, but it means that we are getting the best players from that nation. These are the guys who have been on iconic teams before, on the best DRX, the best version of Vision Strikers, of Gen G on their run last year. And I think seeing all that talent culminating now on their current teams, facing off against each other, it's such a cool way to conclude the group stage.
It is, but I feel like we're doing Texture dirty there, because I feel like he probably deserves to be in that top 10.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I got your back, Texture. I got your back. But he's not here. Izu, however, is here, and I feel like you've been a very, very big fan of his this entire tournament.
Oh yeah, I think that absolutely the performance that he had on Lotus, this skill in particular, it makes absolutely
I thought he was running.
No sense. And he was an actual flick, Mimi, as you're saying. Like, this individual moments, yes, it has to do with him fitting in the plan, but this is like, you know when you just do dry runs and be like, oh, they're going to come through here, right? And you think, but this is most likely not going to be happening in an official. Everything, all the stars aligned for him to have a brilliant performance.
Yeah, and he's such an important guy for the way that T1 plays. They play a lot of these double duelist, heavy fight comps that are going for early aggressive plays on the defensive side. So you need a Sentinel player that is going to bring you enough stall to get those players rotated back over. And Izu is so consistently good at doing that on the Cypher. I mean, you see his stats from yesterday. It was just an outstanding game for this guy.
It is tough to read into that. Again, like TE, maybe not in the same caliber as DRX. I don't know if we expect Izu to be able to match a similar performance today, but if he does, though, they're winning. If he does, they're gonna win, no? Like, surely. But let's talk about some of the other things we saw from T1. We finally got the Meteor ISO. We waited for a whole week. What did you guys think of it? You like it?
I absolutely love this comp for T1. The way that they fight for a rubble control on defense is amazing.
Yes.
They're only full sending utility if they actually get pressure and need it. The ISO on the retake, brawling together with that raise. It's such a unique comp to T1, but it fits their playstyle so perfectly.
It's so good to see because in EMEA we're very used to this point to see it on Haven, but as Mimi was saying, the way that they used it on Yoru, the way that they come with the undercuts and not just putting him as a go kill and that is it, I think that could be game changing. And also a little bit back on the Izu, now that Hyunmin is playing on the Yoru, he might have some more extra tasks to go through today.
Yeah. But will we see it today? Is Lotus a realistic thing you think we're going to see in this map pool?
I would think that DRX would want to get rid of it, but it's also weird because T1 hasn't even been picking it. They've had 2 opportunities. They haven't picked the map once.
Yeah, so this is a little bit of pick your poison. Yes, in the final, DRX had the advantages of banning a couple of maps, but after what we're seeing from T1, these 2 maps, like one of them, I would say is a guarantee, because if T1 sees them open, I mean, one of them is going to be open, they should go there, in my opinion.
I would love to see the Lotus or the Haven, because I think it's the best example of the stark differences between these 2 teams' reads on the meta. T1 is a squad who is playing a lot of these heavy brawl fighting comps that allow you to go for some individual plays, to push through, take timings, that kind of stuff, and does still have some really cool util combos like you're talking about with the ISO undercut. But on the other side, DRX is fully indexed into the very modern Teo, Yoru, Vice ideas that work so well. Oh, they're actually not playing a ton of Vice, but the Teo and Yoru, of course, that work so well together for those set plays, for those combos, and seeing those unique reads is what makes this game so interesting to me.
Yeah, so what we're trying to say in a general idea is that, yes, we have seen this match before, but this one is going to be so different.
Yes.
You have new compositions. Sylvan is playing. He wasn't playing the 2 times that they've played this year. So both of the teams were going to get a different feel. And now is about adapting and preparing for this.
It is indeed, but it's time for the results of our Mastercard fan poll. Earlier, we asked you how many first seeds do you think will make it through to playoffs? And this is like the closest poll I think I've ever seen.
So what they're saying is that T1 and Liquid win today.
I agree.
I disagree with very heavily.
Why, Mimi? Why?
I think DRX is favored in a couple ways. One, them playing Vitality that close is just incredibly impressive to me. They're very familiar with T1. They have the history on their side. They've beaten them every time. And the other game, G2 is... I don't want to read too much into it. They had one horrible map, and it was bad, but I still think overall they're a stronger team.
Go on, get inhaling, I feel like.
That's not Cope. G2 is the favorite in that game. I will not be convinced that Team Liquid is the favorite.
It does sound very nice, but speaking of, I think we should look at the predictions because, of course, we do this every day. And I'm going to plug myself that I have, on the whole, been pretty good.
I'm down bad.
I'm predicting, and my method is just basically going for like things that I like. And I like Liquid and T1, and that's what I've gone for. Yeah.
I was robbed yesterday because I actually predicted Team Liquid, but I showed yesterday Sentinels, and it doesn't matter. I said that they convinced me one, and if they go down, I guess we'll go down together.
Wow, Lauren went for Liquid. She's normally quite sensible. Yeah. I'm surprised. Although her tweet, did you see her tweet today?
No, I didn't.
She said she's going to start predicting teams that lose on her prediction. That's her new strat.
What she had in the first
She
one?
had DRX.
So T1 is one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's perfectly possible, really.
Yeah, I mean, so much has changed since the last time they played, but despite the history, like, I don't want to count T1 out, especially if they get a Lotus, they get a Haven through this pool, like, there's a world they could win it.
I mean, I think you're right, though, in terms of the stats are very much against them. Even with G2 and Liquid as well, we do have two maybe clear favorites. They're #1 seeds for a reason.
Absolutely, but the underdogs, I think, have really proven themselves this tournament, too. Beating Trace the way they did was impressive for T1 and Liquid as well. I mean, they decimated Sentinels the end of that last map.
Oh, I think that Liquid has it all coming for them today. I am 100% sure.
100%?
No,
What
I
about
am,
the Bola
90.
guarantee? It's always 60-40 at minimum.
Also,
you gotta listen to him.
I just want to say the last time you did this to Team Heretics, and look what happened to them.
They got
so
3
That's
you're
not
banned.
true. What I did to
you are
Heretics
banned.
was predicting against them all the time, and I got them to the grand final of Champions.
And then you predicted Heretics. So
I do not want to talk
you're
about
banned. You're banned. But it is the final day of the Swiss stage, and playoffs are on the line. It's time to get into this. We will be bringing you DRX versus T1, G2 versus Team Liquid. Day 5 of Masters Bangkok starts right now.
Utter domination from EDG.
I think as the IGL, whenever you lose like this, you got to make sure your team keeps their chin up.
The monstrous 13-4 decimating G2.
Losses are devastating. This is what we play for. Nothing's better than winning, and nothing's worse than losing.
I would definitely say VALORANT is one of the best IGLs in the world, and he's also fragging like nuts. Bro, trust me, Nuts is the smartest player in the world. He's the smartest guy I have ever played with.
Being one of the longest cores in Valorant with me, Trent, and Jonah P, and bringing in Nate and Jogamo, who just click well with all of us, it is pretty seamless.
I don't think they are as scary as I thought before, and I think our playstyle is good against them.
To the boys, first loss of the year, right? So let's bounce back, let's show them what we're made of.
Either we go forward or we go home. Let's give it all.
So we wouldn't want it any other way. Let's go win this.
살아남으면 살아남을수록 우리 팀이 강해지고 있구나, 이런 의미인 것 같습니다. 일단 이길 때나 질 때나 아직 끝나지 않았다는 생각을 계속 갖고 있어야 될 것 같고, 이번 패배를 바탕으로 조금 더 침착하게 플레이하는 것과 그런 것들을 대회에서 많이 배울 수 있다 생각하거든요. 그래서 졌지만 오늘을 계기로 조금 더 열심히 하고, 일단 뭐 이제 한 목숨밖에 안 남았다는 사실이 조금 부담감으로 올 수 있지만, 그게 저는 오히려 저를 더 끌어오르는 그런 요인이 될 수 있다고 생각하고, 과거의 트로피는 과거에 두고 현재의 팀에서 트로피를 올리겠습니다. 어느 팀을 만나던 자신감은 충분하기 때문에 각오하세요.
DRX.
Korean teams have been a main stage at global events, but we have never seen this inter-regional clash on stage. The stakes are very simple. You win, you're going to playoffs, and if you lose, you're going home.
Yeah, and this is a matchup that we've seen before. The last time, of course, was the regional final there in Pacific. But of course, DRX is not going to have those double bans, and the maps are looking very different for the team.
Yeah, a lot has changed since them too. New comps, new players coming in, and it really makes you question where T1 wants to go with this one. Will they have the opportunity to play into the comfort of the Lotus, the Haven we were seeing from them yesterday, or does DRX want to target that Lotus out?
We will see it in just a second as the map vetoes come out. But of course, to remind you guys that T1 will be coming in here as the upper seed as a result of the draw. And this veto is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, DRX has decided to not play the Lotus in the past. We had seen them ban the Pearl, ban the Haven, but apparently after what they saw yesterday and about the results that they couldn't find against T1, they decided to ban, and T1 is going to go for the Pearl.
It's very interesting here. We've already seen 5 maps from DRX. These are 2 more that they have not played yet here at Masters Bangkok to start the series. But for both these teams, choosing to ban away their opponent's strongest maps does put us in quite even territory.
Exactly, and the Haven was open. We were speaking about the comfortable scenario for T1 playing that double duelist, but still they leave it for a decider, thinking that to some extent it could be kind of like a trap, you know, a little bit of, as I said, DRX is speaking their poison.
But I am very excited to watch T1's Pearl. If they're playing Neon Yoru again, that would be so sick to watch on a global stage.
I mean, speaking of traps, I also feel like a tiny bit of a trap here for DRX, because even though T1 lost that fracture against Vitality, they didn't look bad at all. They should have won that fracture against Vitality.
If it weren't for Durka's off on the defensive side, they would have won that map. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, so this is why I feel like it's a bit of an even map. It's more even than I expected.
Yeah, exactly. And probably they decided to pick onto that because they saw the Vice. Maybe they want to bring us some more Yoru. They feel that it could be a weakness. So if T1 is to stick to the same plan, if DRX is going to stick to the same plan, maybe some change.
Yeah, last time DRX played, it was a mirror comp to T1's Breach Teo Vice comp that you're bringing up. But I would honestly be shocked if they didn't bring out a new composition. They're 5 for 5 thus far this tournament. They could go 7 for 7 with new comps this series.
I would love that if they do. And of course, the last time we saw DRX play Fracture, we saw Mako play Fracture on the global stage was 2023 against EG. They lost it, but Mako has always been good on this map, and now he's calling on it. I can't wait to see what they're going to bring out here as we take a look at Agent Select.
Oh yes, and Hyunmin is going to be back onto that Euro flashback. Sirun away from that Vice, just going back on the Cypher. Absolutely love it, and definitely intentional.
Every single map DRX has played this tournament has been a new comp with Teo, Cypher, Yoru, an Initiator, and a Smoke Sage. And I love how committed they are to this new idea, but it means that T1 can't go off the history from this matchup to prep for this map 1.
I want them to start very comfortable with the new plan, with the new ideas. We saw so many micro plays in the previous maps. That's exactly what DRX has to do today.
As I said, we've never had a Korean team take on another Korean team on the global stage, and I know 2 people will be devastated if they missed out on that. Of course, it's Seth and Clint.
Thank you very much. Devastated. Perhaps at the end of this, we'll have to just wait and see. But yes, it does feel like we're sort of watching our children in a karate tournament. Perhaps they've made it to the grand final of that one. Now we can't really choose between 2. But here we go. DRX versus T1. The desk was talking about it. You and I are very familiar with this matchup.
Yeah, this is going to be our 3rd time casting it this month, as it turns out. And an interesting thing about this, T1 with this roster hasn't been able to beat them. In fact, T1 hasn't been able to beat DRX ever. So this is going to be a really interesting setup because, you know, T1 has been able to finally this year get that curse lifted against Paper Rex. They beat them early in kickoff, and now they're looking to do the same against DRX. Finally find that first win.
Well, for now, decent north side push coming through here from T1. They're just going to lurk back through that sewer. In the meantime, Spike, as well as Hyunmin, starting to bring things forward. Themselves situated here, drop Meteor, the one to try to hold the line. Just the classic in hand for the moment. There's a Marco freeing, pushing in through halls. Looks like it's going to be a relatively safe take here on the site. A little bit of a reroute there as the sheer wall does come up, but Spike does get planted. T1 now. They try to rotate around, get themselves into position, and try to go for a retake.
Oh, that Cypher util there. It's going to give some early identification for DRX, plus this late lurk from Flashback. It's got one.
There's one. Sylvan able to go ahead and avoid that, but Meteor taken down off the rip. The rest of the players now starting to storm their way forward here in towards Halls. Pain Shell up and over the top. No one there really to receive the damage, however, is freeing here on the stairs. Swing out from Buzz, though, finds the headshot. Bane, though, transfers over, finds 3. Sylvan, Buzz, Izu, all going to be taken down. It's a 4K for Bane. The most recent addition. Gets things started as DRX claim the pistol.
And a lot to prove here for Bane. Bit of a rough outing the last time against Vitality, but a hot start for him. The emotional leader for DRX, getting involved early. See if that can keep them fired up, but this is a map that DRX has been very, very good on. T1 has struggled. You can see part of the problem for T1 on this map has been map awareness. They're not always fully reading what's going on around them, not always fully accounting for some of these lurks, some of these flanks. And that early pick by Flashback really set the stage, kept Sylvan in a very isolated position on an island, trying to figure out what's going on around him. Norb grab for Hyunmin. One of the bigger changes here for this DRX comp is that Yoru. Really curious to see how that's going to play out.
Trap set up, though. Flashback about to walk into this, but Meteor going to be taken down, and Flashback seems like he gets a very good sense of this. Toggles the cam, and now is going to start sprinting. That will be heard, but he has the tripwire behind.
Right there.
That early alert system is in place. 2 rounds in a row now. Meteor picked off the rip.
Tripwire destroyed.
See how he fares going into the next one, but for now, DRX firmly in control. Buzz is going to take the rope across toward that north side, joined by Izu.
I like this
Create
idea.
a little bit of split pressure here.
Yeah, I really like this idea from T1 because ideally you don't want to hand over any more orbs. Maybe you can find an exit frag, but just trying to find ways to die to the spike. You tripped the tripwire, so now you know you don't want to go through tree. Try to find a different direction to get in there and find a way to die to that spike safely. Let's see if DRX gives them the option. Ooh, stacks.
T1 identifying that it's fairly unassailable here. So will wisely go down 4 remaining players here to the spike. Freeing just going to go ahead, drift away. And that is going to be a flawless here for the side of DRX. Winning out the anti-eco.
Yeah, so for what it's worth, T1 plays that pretty well. One thing I'm going to be also really keen on in this matchup is Flashback for DRX.
Sure.
And so far, he's doing a good job. Like you were talking about, identifying that he was going to potentially be under pressure coming out of A main, backs off. This was something he had a really tough time with against Vitality. They're really tricky in the way that they'll make contact and back off, or make contact and keep pushing, keep you guessing as that lone flank player, as that sentinel player. So, you know, maybe you'll clear the cam and then you kind of wait it out, you take a pause and then rotate somewhere where Flashback isn't able to keep track of you, where he's not really clearing space, something he needs to be very keenly aware of. A good start for him in that second round.
Clear on the stealth drone, might have identified the presence of at least the one, but yep, the jump across there, Hyunmin taking space over here towards drop. Forces a tuck back from Izu. That allows for the orb to be snatched up. Bane now just 1 away from that rolling thunder.
But you're not taking any contact anywhere else on the map, and that's going to force a bit of a push out from T1.
Double stack, swing coming through, a little bit of a delayed reaction there, but Freeing still able to find it. Sylvan going to be taken down. Grim now out of the equation, stun across onto Meteor as he tries to stay tucked in behind the boxes. Stealth drone looks to flush him out and will be able to do so. Now he's going to be surprised for the next few seconds. Not flying his way, the pressure coming in off the flank. As there's those salvos down on the floor and Freeing able to find him. Second kill in the round. And for T1. In a bad position now as Flashback comes in with a backstab, and Stax clearly not getting word of it fast enough.
Spike planted.
Buzz now on his lonesome. DRX looking for yet another flawless. So he's just going to stay tucked, try to see if he can find any exit frags here. We'll go across through sewers, an opportunity perhaps to find maybe Hyunmin, who's still there at arcade, but at the moment staying here on this side. DRX at the same time. Blood in the water. Darks swirling. Buzz will be able to find one. A hell of a lot more would need to be done. And Bane swinging out. Go ahead and be able to take him down. 2 more charges towards that next rolling thunder, and a bonus conversion for DRX.
This is just a timing thing. T1 thinks they're going to be able to push a little bit of space with that contact towards Dish. They're assuming maybe it's an arcade push. Actually, there's a 2-man stack coming at them from the tree side. They pay the price there. Sylvan caught unawares, and that's rolling thunder in play as well that round. Very early for Bane, and they just smother Meteor out of there. And a big sigh from Stax, the IGL of T1, as they're going to be on an eco. Sheriffs abound, a few half armors. Stax able to avoid the salvos for now. Smoke going to come down Certainly not much ambiguity to this hit so far for DRX.
Quickly forced out of halls, though. Sheriff's in hand will demand a degree of respect here. I mean, T1, the show just yesterday versus Trace. Get them in an eco position. They absolutely can claw their way back into a round.
You've got some nasty, nasty Sheriff players.
Look at this clear from Flashback. Getting through sewers, just sniffing around, not seeing anything, not hearing anything. Calls for rotation to come back over. And right now, DRX are gambling on the correct side of the map.
Yeah, this is a great read. And this is the part of the map where a lot of teams are going to try to punish T1 because Meteor has a tough time on the Vice, locking this site down. It's been a real struggle for him and Sylvan or him and Carpe, whoever, are typically locking this site down in their defaults.
Trying to go for the push up here. Fault line to hold him in place for the moment. And his rotations can now begin. Buzz watching for that late lurk. Not wanting to get backstabbed by Flashback this time around.
That's not ready.
Oh, such a nasty blind shot. Hopes of having that impact here from Meteor with Sheriff in hand. Less and less likely. Picking up from the stealth drone, able to find one. Fault line going to be going through. Players here in tower going to be stunned up for the moment. T1 still trying to encroach. Looking for players here, looking for targets, but it's just going to be freeing, mowing down two. Meteor does manage to find one, but swift cleanup here for the side of DRX. One casualty. Gunman happy to give his life for the cause as DRX get a 4-0 start.
T1 just really looks lost right now, trying to figure out exactly how they can play for these retakes, trying to figure out how they can get a read on DRX. But it's just great map control, great map awareness, and great calling from Mako here. They're avoiding any of the traps that T1 is trying to set up. That's something that T1 is very, very good at. You saw it yesterday on that Lotus with, you know, the combination. Sometimes, in this case, it's not the ISO or anything like that, but they'll combo their utility very, very well. That's something that T1 has done in spades throughout this year. And if you can avoid that contact with them, the retakes sometimes don't look too strong, and this one never even got started. It was dead on arrival. So let's see what T1 wants to talk about. Kind of curious. Right now, they're playing mostly patiently, other than the push out at tree. It's just kind of trying to rotate through their spawn, trying to figure out timing, see if they can catch a lurk player or something like that. But so far, they have been completely bamboozled.
Here's to see Buzz coming into the round, 5,400 credits behind. Does he just go for that operator? Something that was giving, you know, quite a bit of frustrations to themselves when they were playing against, you know, Durka on that opposite side. Could not get that access over towards halls.
It's a good shout.
Curious, it looks like he is, in fact, going to be picking that up.
Well, we saw what he could do with it on Haven.
Just yesterday.
Yep. Absolutely incredible. Just kind of looking to see if maybe Buzz can repeat some of that magic with the operator. Big part of his game.
Playing over towards Dish, so might have that early contact here alongside, against Flashback, rather. There's the peek out, and there's the kill. DRX now going to be well aware that this is in play, but T1 get themselves a nice early advantage.
And that's huge, because now you can play a little bit more contact-based. You can react to the information you get. That's huge. Stealth Drone sees a bunch.
Try to flash him off the angle. He's able to turn from it. Continues to swing out wider and wider, but he's just eating damage, and eventually Bane is able to find that kill. All of a sudden, nullified. In death, Buzz will find the showstopper, but cannot bring it out until round 6. Flash coming out. The Armageddon paves the way. Izu here up top, jumps into it. I think he missed the timing on that one either way. Ends up falling to the wayside. Stacks is able to find one. Meteor still here, freeing. Trying to get him over the line. It's so damn close, but T1 will barely be able to scrape by with a round win. Up recovered, carried forward. That was a hell of a lot bloodier than it looked like it was going to be.
I mean, the firepower for DRX still very strong. And the support there for Buzz, non-existent. A good read here by DRX that he'd be playing behind that box. Maybe they saw Pixel out of place or something like that. The salvos in the corner scared him off. There were some right next to him. And that kind of left him in a bad spot. Opted to try to find the timing to get through the Armageddon, did freeing. It's a huge win, though, for T1. Bulldog for Sylvan. Otherwise, they still had enough to scrape together a bye, but credit situation very dire for T1. Nice opening pick for Buzz.
Another solid shot there off the rip. Flashback. Same time. Pick off Sylvan over at Arcade. This is Stealth Drone going to be able to identify 3 players. Doesn't necessarily tell them which way this is going to swing, though. So it looks like everybody just going to be taking the rope across to that north side, join in with Flashback. See if they can play off his opening. The Buzz is repositioned. He's tucking back over towards the spawn side, however, for a moment had an angle in towards Arcade.
Right there. Now kind of gearing up for more of a retake situation. They don't have much info on the map. All they know is that A main left undefended. So that's going to let Meteor slide back over. Worried that they might already be in tower. That's how late they are on finding anything on this side. Stealth Drone obviously going to give this away.
Gives it cleared out, but there's a Showstopper in play. Slaps it down, gets a hell of a lot of damage, but cannot find the kill on the Mako. Still alive with 3 HP to spare. No margins here for him. He's pushed up into tower at that range. Shorty not going to be doing too much. Freeing. Got a swing, able to find one. Meteor puts him down. Ult available. Does he send it? Looks like he's just going to challenge in for the fight and is able to find one more. Flashback dead. Bane on the floor, and Easy's got the cover to finish off Mako. T1 with themselves back-to-back round wins.
That's that coordination you need as T1. Really good util coming out from Stax and Izu. The salvo's there to flush out the angle for Meteor, to set him up nicely on that ramp. Really good coordinated play. Even though that Showstopper doesn't do a ton of damage. Mako trying to accelerate his way through. But Meteor holding the line there. Has the Razor Vines to protect him, to isolate that angle. And that coordinated util combo from your initiators. Very nicely done by T1. Now they're starting to get the wind underneath them. See if they can soar a little bit more. T1. Stealth Drone again. This looks like a crunch from DRX.
Flashback just jiggling forward. Breaks that shear wall. Looks like just some spam damage. Actually, does manage to take coming down quite low. Meteor comes up. Wow. Still has the lineup, knows the setup. Is able to take him out. Mako able to find 2. Sylvan answers one back on the Bane. 3v2, the rotation still coming through. Buzz trying to get into position. Izu, if he can find 1, would give him that Armageddon online. Has the salvos to try to clear out some of these angles. From here, this is going to prove to be pretty damn difficult to get themselves back in. Final smoke from Mako dropped here to block off Gen.
And Flashback going on a bit of a walkabout underneath the sewers. Salvos. Mako has to back off a bit.
Forced away, is able to escape. Eludes that damage. Time starting to tick. Izu on the chase, swings the corner, finds one for the molly. He's going to burn him down. Buzz now alone here on the site. Sends to the flashback, swings back in. Snappy finds the readjustment, tries to get a weapon swap in, but Flashback is here to cover. Sprays down the corpse of his previous teammate. And DRX get themselves back into the driver's seat, not allowing for T1 to get ever closer.
It's just a great execute. That's going to be the hallmark of both of these teams. These attacker side setups that they're able to come through with. Great coordination. Mako able to swing in, find a bunch of big kills, 3 on the round off the back of that molly. Desk was talking about it. Mako has always been so fearsome on that Brimstone on this map. And it doesn't matter which side he's on, attack or defense. He's got tremendous mechanics, and already T1's economy after winning 2 in a row. Back to broken. Good shot by
with
Meteor.
This Marshall looking for some impact here. Sylvan's going to be the one able to find it, though. You just got to trade out on these Brims. Flashback, however, holding down Halls. Stops the push. Continues to just be lurking so damn well. Buzz and Meteor, however, are in the right spot. They're in a decent position. Shot into the chest there on the Flashback. Paint shells considered. Shots continue to fly. Just trying to stop the flood here. The swing out. Haven't been able to find the headshot. Now it is all down to Meteor. That's the fake out. Hip fire, finds one, forced out into the open. Ooh. Gets freeing through that box. Cannot find the follow-up. And DRX not allowing these thrifty wins to come through.
This is just great stuff from Flashback again. And when I was VOD reviewing DRX's last match, this was one of the biggest pain points for them against Vitality, was Flashback not being able to control those angles by himself. He was often, you know, getting overwhelmed in 1v2s. Vitality was doing a great job in those situations, or in a lot of cases, just 1v1s. I mean, yeah, you're going up against Durka, maybe the best player in this tournament at times, and he was diffing him pretty hard, if I'm being honest. But today, looking a lot sharper, a lot more in control. And the way he's using his util, playing off of it, or just understanding the timings, All of it seems to be much more in sync. Obviously, there's a lot more experience here as well, playing against T1 a couple different times, so definitely a lot more comfort for him in DRX. And another big thing is, I'll hold that thought.
T1 still a world away. Have to break the trip. Flashback there to try to shut this down, but three-player approach coming through that north side over towards Dish at the moment. Double Armageddons at the ready. The swing coming through. Wide swing out, Buzz. Plants his feet, finds one. Orbital strike now going to be called in. Sylvan just trying to clear things out. Push up over the top of the ropes and freeing. Going to be taken down. Play advantage now here. Forced away. Armageddon shutting them back in towards Hall. The door opened up and Meteor guns down two. Mako out wide just trying to play delay as much as he can. Final smoke tries to drop it down. Swaps back over onto the Vandal. To jump out, cannot hold his ground. The defuse comes through. T1 persevering, getting themselves a flawless round win and multiple ultimates out of DRX's hands.
Oh, finally, T1 is able to find some space on the map with these early lurks. And this time around, it's just too much for Flashback to deal with. Singing his praises at the beginning. Has an unfortunate situation there, a 3v1 to try to hold down. Freeing then trying to make a play off the back of his Armageddon. Not going to do anything. And Meteor getting some good value there out of the Steel Garden, something that I felt like had been lacking from his Vice play so far this year. Was finding good opportunities to use that ultimate. That one right there, very, very good. Secured him the end of that round. So tip of the cap to T1. Now it's going to be a weaker buy for the side of DRX. Hero Rifle in Hyunmin's hands.
Flashback needs to run, needs to get onto that rope ASAP. Okay, just pops, swings out, he's still gonna fall, just not fast enough. Mako now almost goes for the peak there into Hall. Bane just strafing into the site. Meteor's tucked away. Looks for the second. Hyunmin able to find one. To the corner, avoids the suppress. The narrow relocate is now Rolling Thunder. Crashed across from Stacks. Buzz, another showstopper in hand. He's looking for a target. Doesn't exactly know where Hyunmin's at, even with the stun. He's able to find the headshot. Coming back in from Sylvan, but now it'll just be too much pressure coming their way. DRX crumble under it. T1 continue clawing their way back into this, now looking for a 6 6/2.
Kind of curious if maybe now a timeout going to be thought about by DRX here. It's just these three-man pushes from T1. They're just saying, let's just group up, let's just swing a direction.
Run them down.
It's just run them down, exactly, because if we have the numbers, if we're able to catch Flashback in particular on his own, if we can guess where he's going to be, that's going to give us a huge advantage in the round, because we're knocking the Lurker out, we're setting ourselves up for these 5v4 retakes. You know, both these teams, again, very execute heavy. See, you want to be the one that's in position earlier to set up for that retake, for that flood, because if you let DRX plant their feet, they're going to have very, very difficult post plants to root out.
Timeout is there. Glow chatting with the team. Figure out what exactly is going wrong. Granted, thrifty attempt in the last round. Able to get a couple of those ultimates away. The Rolling Thunder, the showstopper used. Window of opportunity there, window of weakness that DRX can try to exploit to get themselves back into the driver's seat and ensure a round advantage at the half. They themselves still holding on to this Rolling Thunder.
I mean, to me, this is just Termi calling a timeout because of what was going on in the map, not necessarily that particular round result, but two rounds in a row where, you know, T1 is doing the same thing, and they get caught doing it twice. So got to make sure, and now maybe just a focus on the south side of the map. Simplify the game plan a little bit. Just have Flashback watching Tree. You try to make a push towards A main, see if you can get it to go. And it's a four-man push for T1 in response to that. They're going to continue, try to just take space, try to double down on what was working those last couple of rounds. Meteor on an island, though, on A.
Line set up.
Not ready yet.
A glimpse there, Hyunmin. Able to find him with a couple shots, but once again, this crunch getting ready to come through. Flashback. This time not going to be pressured out.
But that was enough to divert. Just Meteor's presence was enough to divert DRX. It's so unorthodox to have Meteor on A by himself. They can't imagine that that's the case. They have to try something different. See what Stacks can do here. Fault line at the ready.
Now just Jiggle peeking, spots him out. Freeing not able to find that headshot there. Flashes fly. Obviously, all of T1 nearby. Meteor at the same time, lurking forward in case this wraparound comes back his way. Figures that he's going to be good for one, if not two of them. Give his team the advantage, but now Salvo's shoving back. Snacks are in tower. Push comes through. They here for the moment, though. Pressure continuing to keep DRX contained as Meteor gets closer and closer. Flashback watching the angle, will have to hit the shot. Rolling Thunder now going to come crashing through. I think Stack's able to avoid that one. Meteor striking, finds one, finds a second! Before Bane can come to the rescue. The wheels now starting to come off as T1 get themselves just one round away from tying things up at the half.
10 seconds left.
What a gutsy call on that timeout by T1. And it was just enough presence shown by Meteor to send DRX into the stack of T1, into their strong side. DRX now, after such a good read early on, 4 rounds in a row, may end up splitting this half. And Meteor there finding great timing, great patience there to wait until for sure that Rolling Thunder kicks off, and that's when he slams in. Phenomenal patience. I was a bit worried he might press the go button a little too early, you know, has to clear that trip that's back there, and that kind of allows DRX to rotate back the other way, but instead he waits till they commit. And that's something that I think both of these teams can be a little bit guilty of, is that they wait out executes a little bit too long.
State of affairs here. Glass cannon from Mako, however, able to find that opening kill. Forced back away here from the Salvo, so Wise Wing coming through from Izu, looking to try to take some space, but it ends up getting shut down. It's Flashback. Comes away with 2. The Neural Theft now going to be invested in Meteor, is all on his lonesome. Still going to be thrown, but it's a shallow one. Doesn't catch the players here on the site. Realizes now that they were in a lot earlier than he had anticipated. Has everything to do. 1v4 with freeing at 16 health. Mako just not giving him the wide enough angle to try to get some damage through. Flashback tucked at Arcade. This is a nigh impossible situation here for Meteor. Salvos gets a chunk. Now down to 41.
Flashback should have the cleanup here. Oh no, Meteor does win that.
Headshot coming through, but there's so much more to try to grind through, and Bane will go ahead and put an end to it. DRX 7-5 at the half, secure themselves a lead, but this was a fantastic run back from T1.
Some really good adjustments made by T1 in terms of just countering how DRX was trying to play, especially Flashback.
Well, this map is contentious to say the least. Let's see what happens in the second half when we come back.
Had it with your old phone? We've got you. At Verizon, trade in any old phone for iPhone 16 Pro on us, on any plan. And get iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all 3 on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Alrighty, we are about to dive into the second half here on Fracture. First map of this series with elimination on the line. T1, after a very rocky start, have done well to rally back, make this a 7-5 scoreline.
And a big part of it has been the way Meteor has been playing. He's been stepping up, he's been finding some of those timings. His side anchoring, a little bit sketch, but
All right, getting caught off guard there.
But his lurks have been really good, is where I'm going with that. So let's see if on this attacker side, Meteor can find some more of that space, find some more of that value for DRX, shutting those things down. Sight holds on B with Flashback and Mako going to be very, very crucial. Hyunmin being able to spread the map with those Yoru TPs as well. See how that new duelist change-up will work for DRX coming into this half. I was pretty surprised they changed on this map as well. I thought this might be the one where maybe they just stick with the Rays, but you know, really went all in on Yoru for this event.
Seems like they have adopted the same thought process around freeing playing nothing but Taeho.
Yeah, why not, right?
On the Yoru, but so far that impact hasn't really been seen. Even in the rounds that DRX were able to win to give themselves this advantage. I mean, Hyunmin, he creates some space, he opens things up, but he hasn't been fragging the way that we've seen him in the last 2 series.
It's, especially on this map, it's really tough for yours.
Entry coming through, Buzz to go ahead, 6 a landing and finds 2. Brave Bane, both going to be taken out. Hyunmin now noted here on the flank. Mako slowly creeping his way in from the spawn. 2-player advantage. Monstrous here for the side of T1 as they look to get themselves another pistol win.
Look at Sylvan. He's out Narnia.
He is. He's going to rope across the back. They want to play this out as patiently as they can. Paint shells here at Mako's feet, forces him back, and he eats an immense amount of damage. Hyunmin finding 1, but I don't think this flank is going to be noted whatsoever. Not anticipated as Sylvan gets closer and closer. The call here to send him back across the rope could be absolutely devastating. Or it won't even come to fruition as Mako now. Last one standing with just 12 HP. The win, not in his sights. Some charges, perhaps, towards that orbital, his goal, but cannot find any more. T1 win the pistol, tied up 1-1 here in the map.
Just a great entry here by Buzz from the drop. It's a couple banger shots with the Ghost. Really breaks things open there. Whew. Snappy stuff from Stacks, but definitely has been Meteor's map so far. And a big-time pistol win for DRX, and you got to start to worry, you know, or excuse me, for big-time pistol win for T1, you got to start to worry about DRX. One thing that I noticed just kind of watching them on stage was they looked a little nervous. They looked a little shaky against Vitality. Whereas on that T1 squad, a ton of experience and a big opening kill.
Was finding Hyunmin off the rip, up and over the top he goes, lands on the box, and Mako goes down. Turns back, keeps his teammate protected, grabs the orb.
Showstopper.
This round is all Buzz all day long. Like you said, Showstopper now online. It is just freeing. And given the way that he's just sprinting around, well, we'll be able to find a kill. Oh, almost a second. It seemed like he just wanted to get this round over with, get into T1's bonus. We are tied up at 7-7.
All right, the speed and acceleration for T1 has been working so far. Really get past that utility, get on top of that box. That's some really nice blast packing from Buzz. He's going to be rewarded with a showstopper in the bonus. So this is scary for DRX. Have to be very aware of the positionings that T1 is going to be taking. Don't want to lose a player early. That showstopper if you can help it.
Yes, this should go.
It's an interesting setup there with that tripwire right at the edge of tower. Trying to catch players, setting up, I believe, Mako.
Salvo catches it though.
I did.
Ends up getting cleared out. Cam still situated. Deltron not identifying Flashback's position there on the site. In the meantime, though, double push up through Halls. Meteor goes in to challenge this. Hyunmin on the counter swing will be able to take him down. Showstopper now, however, going to be drawn out. No one here to receive it. In the end, going to be a bit of a dud, but still space opened up for T1 to get the plant going.
And they're going to have so much control. I mean, they've got Dish and main control. DRX only has one option, and that's to brute force their way through. They might try and clear main first. This is going to be challenging no matter what.
Get Sylvan escorted back. He's going to be in position for the Molly lineup. Realizes that's a fake out, but the real thing comes in. Stacks in the face. The Molly now sent through. Bounces down for the delaying. DRX realizes they can't even try to go for the tap here on the spike quite just yet. They still need to open up some space. They need to clear all these angles. And now the salvos are ready. Can hold a half. Hyunmin trying to scale forward, finds one. Half held. Half hold is there as Hyunmin looks for an ace for himself, but cannot make it happen. The hold comes in. DRX win the round, but they lose absolutely everything.
Oh, remember. On a knife's edge there. Izu playing that really nicely. But the fact that DRX commits to that half hold, sacrifices Mako, allows them to get that round win, but just barely. And they are going to be hurting economically going into this next round. Meteor running out on a 1v1, quite a bit of damage, pretty easy cleanup. I thought Sylvan might have the jump on Hyunmin there. He got ahead of the flash, swung wide, but Hyunmin with a nice reaction to take him down. Let's see what now T1 wants to do. Looks like an arcade push. Flashback here, Trip this time hasn't been cleared just yet by the salvos. Stealth drone out, getting a little bit of information. They're gonna know that at the box it's clear, but Mako with the shotgun.
Lingering here inside the smoke with a timing buzz. Able to find it. That's devastating. He would have been absolutely dead to right. Flashback does well to find the headshot. They lose out on Hyunmin at the same time. Spam across through the smoke past the Jen. Bane is taken down and freeing. Locked in position here by these Thorns. That smoke only going to last for so long. Dissipates, he breaks the line of sight. How do you try to get a jump on somebody? Frenzy at this range.
They're using that Taeho utility to smother him out of the round. It's going to be difficult for him to find the opportunities. Trying to be as patient as he can. Maybe stacks a Meteor on the way out. Re-wraps back towards the ramp. Nope. Maybe just going to die to the spike.
It seems like they have a well-assessed idea of where Freeing is going to be coming from. Able to avoid him, so Freeing will just go down to the spike, but that means a T1. Not allowing for that Thrift to come in. Got to sprint it there. Okay. Gets in, dies. That means a T1 tie us up. Still neck and neck, 8-8.
Obviously a weaker buy, but a few things go pretty awry here for the side of DRX. Just the timing there. Mako thought he could redo the smokes. Yeah, you can see it. He knew the timing was just a bit off. Sure, flashback got the one and done. Beyond that, just some smoke spam for T1, anticipating the flood retake attempt by DRX, just shutting it down before it even starts. This is a very important round for DRX. Their money is in the bin.
T1 just have call for something at the moment here as there's a trade up. Mako Hyunmin on the floor, just stacks lost here. In transit over towards the site. Flashback gonna be noted, the spray coming his way, swings back out of the cage, but Buzz is good for it. And already, it's the backpedaling coming through. The call to save has to be made. DRX not finding purchase. This aggression out from T1 off the rip, just too much, overwhelming them. T1 will now gain the lead.
This is pretty wild. I mean, this execute style of Valorant that both of these teams play, you know, who was going to be able to kind of coordinate and outguess the other better? And so far, T1 has been making the better reads, the better adjustments throughout. First half in particular, I thought those were some really good calls by Stax and Autumn to change things up as this one went on. But here on this attacker side, they're just in cruise control. Send Buzz in, Buzz go kill, break open the site, easy money. You know, obviously there's some good util behind it. Izu's doing a great job on that Taeho, finding a ton of value. Meteor's just Meteor, man. Looking much more like himself these last couple of days.
Oh, for sure. I think this is the best performance we've seen from him on this Vice in particular.
Yes.
But it has just been electric here today.
Look, I'll be honest. I was saying a couple days ago, take Meteor off Vice. He's not ready for it. He's proving me wrong right now. He looks way better, much more comfortable, much better reads on the map. I talked to him right before the match. I just asked him, how you doing? He goes, napunji ana. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm all right. Let's see what this has done to the economy here for DRX. Stinger in hand. Scout out onto Freeing. Hyunmin goes into the dimensional drift, spotting out Meteor. Primary target. See if he's going to be able to take him down, though. Jumps out around the back. Stun does come through. He's able to find one, but Freeing Mako going to be taken out at the same time, and now T1 sees control of the site. Just one rifle left in play here in the hands of Bane. Flashback with a classic. Maybe could pick up Meteor's gun.
You'd love to see if you could find a way to get that rolling thunder out of Stax here. If you could put a little bit more pressure and maybe find one pick. Right there. Force that ult out.
Flash in. Bane just getting team flash, though. Coordination starting to break down, you can see. Slow creep up getting ready. Aftershock clear off one angle. Swoop back through, Bane able to find Izu, but not before Kenman gets taken down. Gets himself a second as Buzz will fall, and suddenly the ground back in towards their hands. Rolling Thunder, however, gets the Suns across, but stacks himself, fault lined, stunned up, swings in, finds one. The time is just not going to be there.
Shut up and let me work.
Bane realizes that it's a lost cause. Will take a kill, get another ult orb, but he cannot stop T1. Red Bull clutch goes their way. They now move up 10-8.
They're absolutely frying on this attacker side. I mean, credit to DRX. They're able to force out that big ultimate, but still couldn't find that round win. For a moment, it looked like the hope was there. Again, just Sylvan pushing through those smokes, disrespecting Mako's util. Great job. This aggression from T1 needs to be accounted for. You've got to find a way to maintain arcade control. It's being sending players down into sewers to create some crunches. That's been the one round that worked for DRX in this half. Was when they were able to set up a crunch from multiple directions to really just smother T1 out of that round. This is starting to look dire. T1 is in much better form than we've seen the first 2 times against DRX, especially on a map that has plagued T1 throughout this year. This has been one of their pain points. And it seems like they're finally starting to find that confidence, finally starting to find that groove. Can DRX punch back?
We absolutely need to. This timeout call didn't translate into a round win. Was an eco attempt, but see how they fare now. Full weaponry back into their hands. Orbital, a neural at their disposal, but similarly impactful ultimates there for T1 as well.
You can see they're stacking heavy on the B side. It's going to be a 4-man push for T1 from the southern end. Meanwhile, yeah, arcade control going to be attempted to establish by DRX. Just Meteor there on his lonesome.
And Meteor does well. Be able to find the one, turns to the flash, turns back. It's with Hyunmin. Tip of the retake spear now going to be eliminated, but orbital strike coming through as things get chaotic here on the B site. Similarly, Armageddon trying to escort them forward, drop down off the rope. See Aftershock forces them away. Site's opened up now, in control of T1. Sylvan still has his own orbital strike available for the post plant, and he's in a disconnected position back out over towards Tree. Flashback not quite finding the kill. Savills trying to flush him into the open. Buzz still here on site, able to find one, but Mako swings in, finds 2, takes down his former cohorts. Right of the rope, Izu about to get timing. Eliminated now, and it all falls down to Sylvan. The orbital to buy some space, but the Armageddon looks to shove him back, and he cannot escape it. Freeing with a 3K. We'll get DRX back in this. 1 round separating as they look to go 10-10, but T1 have so much cash behind right now.
This is a great adjustment, great identification by DRX, reestablishing control of arcade, giving up a little bit of space. Sure, Meteor gets 1, you're able to trade it quickly, not that big of a deal. Because you have the orbital strike and you're able to use that when T1 wants to plant to force them into tower, then you've got the Tejo utility to force them out into the open, and you're crunching at the same time. Freeing catches his opposite Tejo, completely napping. But that was just really good execution and coordination. Waited out the timing on T1's Armageddon as well to send that orbital strike of their own. Very nice change up from DRX.
See, now they're starting to just do what T1 was doing before. They're trying to find flashback. They're trying to find Meteor now on this attack. Showstopper, however, built up that orb take. Meteor calls, yep, they're over towards this side. That's gonna be freeing, taken down. The crunch here from T1, working a treat as Bane narrowly escapes. Flashback considering a swing out. Here's the Thorns paint shells, forcing him further away, allowing for Meteor. Get set up. Get those popped. Meteor DRX held at bay, the Molly, the Aftershock thrown towards them. Thunder available here towards Bane, but can they send it? Sylvan flashed up, needs a little bit of damage. Just a lick there from the Molly. But it looks like DRX are calling this off. The 4v5, T1 far too entrenched. No one on that north side to try to create that extra bit of crunch. They have to back away. They have to allow for T1 to get up to 11.
And it's just a great counter call here by Stax for T1. He says, all right, they want arcade. Okay, there's a big kill for Meteor on the back end. Another gun dropped for DRX, but it's a simple adjustment. We're just gonna go dish this time. Meteor, you hold the line at main. We've got the showstopper. If we can get through the site easily, you're gonna have backup, and it's right there. Lickety split. So the counter calls here, so good. And on this attacker side, have been highly favoring T1. Now what does Mako have in response? Because he's got a Rolling Thunder. The Neural Theft available as well. Some tools to work with, but a couple Bulldogs had to be bought down. T1 right back to arcade, and DRX isn't really reading this. Mako forced back. A lot of info gained. They know they're gonna have the space. You can see Bane sliding over, try to provide a little bit of support. Be able to fault line there.
Fault line's out, gets his little spot out, but definitely has to back away. Rope's gonna be taken, sits at the volley, Rolling Thunder coming through. Stax just looking to try to storm him, but it's gonna be Buzz actually swinging around from the opposite side here on the site. Comes away with that kill. Shots just unable to connect. He's out at safety. Spike does get dropped, and Freeing's able to find one. Kenman trying to scale for, trying to take some space, but cannot. Freeing and flashback, however, will be able to stem the bleeding, stem the tide. Get themselves just one round away. But it's chaotic, it's messy. It's a scramble, the one that DRX narrowly come out on top of.
And this is the IGL calling for himself here. He's saying, Bane, get over here, help me with that util, send that ult out, buy some time. And then the quick retake before T1 can really plant their feet, find the ability to get the plant down. Great stuff. Great counter call again. Already showing how well these two teams know each other, how familiar they are with each other. This time T1 thinking about more of a tree push, but I'd like to see T1 slow down the pace a little bit. I'd like to see them work the map, see if they can bait out some rotations, some util from DRX. Looks like our drones are gonna say hello to each other over there over in A main, but Meteor here, able to jump the wire. Oh, that's so bad.
And that could be absolutely devastating.
TP will be there underneath sight.
Gate crash drifting across, but Meteor, he's gonna spot a foe, and he's gonna be able to nail him. Bane Freeing, not sure what just hit him. A Meteor to the back of the head as they get devastated. And now for that gate crash, you can't take it.
There was an immediate ping onto that tripwire.
And there's an immediate call to go for the save. DRX just do not have the funds.
Yep.
And this is a tough pill to swallow, knowing that you have to let the opposing team get to map point on your map pick and then try to win it out in OT.
Wouldn't be the first time they've done it to T1.
Very true, but DRX looking very frazzled. Mako needing to hold on to this weapon. Backs away. Meteor similarly on the prowl, working his way through that defender spawn. Getting closer and closer. Mako just tucked here for the moment.
Right there.
But eventually the pinch is going to come through. Cam cleared out.
3 down.
Mako asleep at the wheel. Meteor collects one. The cage basically giving away their positions. T1 wanting to hound them down. Shot onto one, but Meteor finds the other. A 4K for him. One rifle surviving the round. Cash gone. T1 get up to map point.
It's 26 kills now for Meteor. And this is just expert awareness on his part. I mean, obviously Flashback probably getting a little bit of a talking to about that tripwire placement. And grabbing these guns at the end of the round is so devastating because that's going to only be 2 stingers that Bane and Freeing can afford to buy. A Bulldog for Mako. No ults to speak of other than the Neural Theft. And while you got the Rolling Thunder for Stax, he can send it right here.
They're looking for a crunch, but now the Rolling Thunder looks to shove them back. Hyunmin able to dip out, Freeing. Looks back through the door. Salvo's now starting to fly. Damage not suffered here on the side of DRX quite just yet, but all 5 players from T1 roped up here in halls.
It's a grab of the orb, and I think this is a good idea. Maybe back off of this, try a different direction. You have made it very readable what you're doing here. Maybe if you can find a pick in Sands.
Flash out, Kevin looking for the play. Gun down Izu, able to find one, freeing here.
One enemy
Covering fire to go ahead and stem this push coming through. Somehow, some way, DRX. They managed to win it out. They can scoop up these weapons. The two dead. Minor amounts of cash, still gonna be a bit of a weaker buy as they try to push this into overtime, but they are persevering, and that's gonna be a timeout called here from T1.
That's a good idea from both teams. DRX there, just knowing that they can bait that rolling thunder out and just fall back. T1 so committed to this A hit. They weren't changing their mind no matter what. Come hell or high water, they were gonna try to break through. Buzz goes in all on his own to try to create space. Gets shut down at the point of attack. The rest of the team crumbles behind. So DRX there, able to just get an early read on T1's positioning and lock down the A site. T1 here, a little bit concerning. We saw this on Haven when they played their very first time, where T1 had a lead and fumbled it, sent it into OT. Had another lead in OT, had a 3v1 against Flashback, where he was able to clutch out to send it to another set of OT rounds. And then DRX ended up winning that Haven. So T1 looking to avoid that again here on Fracture, a map that has looked much improved today. This is a much better version so far, but I need to see T1 a bit more active on the map, and it looks like they're gonna try and set up a B crunch. 3 up top, 2 down below. Whereas DRX, they're looking to get aggressive out of dish.
Curious, how quickly do they try to go for this? I mean, you see the pings covering that north side. Seems like, yeah, they're gonna call for a full crunch. Solid enough understanding of where T1 is going to be. They actually shut them down. As that's just gonna be ult invested here. Steel Garden. Taking away their weapons. Space given up. Tripwire gonna be cleared out here on the site. Meteor able to find one. Bane dead. Over towards that spawn side. Now set up. Retake needed to get started here, but Flashback already gonna be taken down 3v5 as DRX desperately try to get this over into overtime. Hyunmin down low. Flash connect. Stack's gonna be eliminated. Buzz with the shorty able to find Hyunmin freeing, taking down Buzz. The trade's coming back through, but still the disadvantage here for DRX. Salvos to clear some space, freeing to try to disrespect the damage. Pushes forward, but gets cut down. 13-11. T1 take down DRX on DRX's map pick of Fracture.
That is a statement win for this T1 team. Unbelievable that they're able to take this map from DRX.
And with Pearl on the horizon, the pressure's got to be mounting DRX so they have something prepped. We're going to find out, but first the analyst desk will break down all the action here from Fracture.
Do it again. Watch me win. Then watch me do it again.